Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Welcome back to another awesome episode of On the Throttle with Jacqui Van Ham and my buddy Josh Stroke out here bringing you all of the breaking news going on out here in motorcycles and power sports. I hope you had a lovely weekend no matter where you are out there in the world. I got back from an excellent weekend at Barber Vintage Festival. My voice is a little raw, I'm not gonna lie. So if you catch me drinking a little bit of coffee during today's program, that's exactly why. And also today's program, woo! It is another episode within an episode, show within a show within a show, because we have got not only Josh and I's regular weekly topics that we want to discuss with you, but we have got a great interview with Cinnamon Kernes from the Motorcycle Industry Council and Greg Jones from here at MPN, and they're going to be talking about AIMExpo. So let's go ahead and jump on into today's show. The topics for me in this week's show are going to be talking about the brand new bikes that Kawasaki just revealed this past week. That's right, Team Green is going green. And is Marc Marquez quitting MotoGP? Josh, what you got going on in your neck of the woods?
I have an all red episode. It's all Honda and not all off-road, but there's two, let's say, off-road canted items that, one of them sticks with that Team Green thing in terms of being electric. So we'll get into those.
We are going to get into those, but we're all going to have to wait for after this word from our sponsor.
They tell you, wait your turn. Don't push. Stay in your lane. Be sensible. Keep it steady. Follow the crowd. Be logical. Dial it down. Stay consistent. Take no risks. Some of us just say no. Welcome to the Racing Squad.
Well, welcome back, everybody. As I mentioned at the top of the program, Team Green has revealed some green machine details this past week. We're going to discuss the machines that are slated to come to the US, but before we jump into that, I also want to mention that a hybrid motorcycle was revealed this past week as well. We're not going to be jumping into that too much today because that actually is only for overseas market currently, but still incredibly exciting. So let's go ahead and chat about some of these green machines from Team Green. This is going to be a pair of e-bikes coming from the folks over at Kawasaki. Kawasaki has been clear in its intention to bring electric motorcycles into its street bike lineup as soon as possible. And today, this past week, it made good on that by announcing two all-new electric motorcycles, the Ninja E1 and a Z E1 motorcycle designed for urban commuting. Both bikes are loosely based on Kawasaki's 400cc models, but open the door to a completely different riding experience compared to their gas-powered counterparts. Interesting, Kawasaki goes as far to mention the electric scooters and bicycles that have become increasingly popular over the years, saying these electric powered motorcycles are the real deal and offer superior performance over an electric scooter or bicycle. It's no secret that Team Green, like all manufacturers, are intent on reaching new riders, and these two bikes are very much a part of that mission. The Kawasaki Ninja E1 has a higher top speed when compared to the naked ZE1, 52 miles per hour in road mode and 37 miles per hour in eco mode. Top speed potential increases when using the e-boost function. I thought that this was super awesome, which can be applied for up to 15 seconds at a time and brings the top speed, Josh, to 65 miles per hour. The Ninja E1 and ZE1 are powered by a brushless electric motor rated at 5 kilowatt hour with a max rating of 9 kilowatt hour. Again, that's talking about that kind of e-boost mode. Beyond the obvious benefit of being clean, quiet, and cool running, Kawasaki says the motor is intended to offer strong low-end power and an immediate throttle response for quick acceleration. We all know that because that's how e-bikes do, but this is a key component to making the bikes perform well in stop-and-go riding situations around town, because that is what these bikes are meant for. So the Well, I also want to discuss with you a little bit of curb weight is 98 pounds for the ZE1 and 309 for the Ninja. They have a removable battery, which weighs a claimed 25 pounds, offers a nominal capacity of 30 amps and nominal voltage of 50 volts. This makes the total battery capacity 60 amps. Removing the batteries is done by unlocking and opening the storage compartment, and you can pull them out. I thought this was really cool because not only are these removable, which Josh and I talk about all the time as being super important for folks that live in town settings, they don't have access to a garage with someplace to plug in. It means you can take it up to your apartment or condo or whatever and plug it in inside. Total charge time is about 7.4 hours or 3.7 hours per battery. Kawasaki claims 1.6 hours per battery for a partial charge. And then the regenerative braking allows energy to be generated, which is pretty normal for e-bikes as well. I thought this was really rad. Again, you've got the option of direct charge while the battery's in the bike, a dock charge, or an off-board charge as well. These have road and eco modes, as I mentioned. I am really excited about this. Again, 52 mile per hour in road, 37 in eco, and then that top speed has that little boost on there as well. It does come with a really pretty 4.3 TFT dash. There is a walk mode for both bikes. With the system activated, riders can move the bike forward at approximately 3.1 mile per hour or reverse at 1.8. So what I'm really getting at about these bikes, that I think this is really very interesting and very exciting, is the point of this bike is that this is meant to be really very, very accessible, particularly to a new rider. The ZE1, the price tag for that is $72,999, where the Ninja is $7599. There's a little bit of increase in price for some of the different paint schemes, but I thought that this was just a very cool, very neat thing. I am really excited for these coming from Kawasaki. So approximately, $7,500, slightly under, you can get into the e-bike game. So somebody that is new to motorcycling or new to two wheels in general, this has enough juice to definitely get you around town. You can take the batteries out and plug it, either on board, or you can plug it, upstairs when you take it up to your apartment or whatnot. There is no shifting going on with these. This does have a walk mode, so it makes it easier to push around like your little garage or whatever, and you can reverse it. To me, this screams accessibility, and I, for one, am totally here for it. Now, I did read some of the comments in this because I do like to jump into the forums and see what people have to say. The comments are eating these bikes alive. No big surprise for me. These are existing motorcyclists reading about these bikes, and they're like, I can't take this bike across America. This bike is garbage. This bike isn't for you. That's all I got to say about that. The people that love to eat these e-bikes up, I'm like, these are not meant for you. Not yet. We're not there yet. These are meant for folks who are riding machines in small little bursts, like in a town setting or out in the dirt. That is where these bikes live right now. That is where the battery range lives right now. This is who these bikes are for. So marketing them that way, building them that way, and having features that cater to those markets, I am here for it. Josh, what you got to say about these cool new machines from Kawasaki?
Yeah. They're interesting for a number of reasons. So, because Kawasaki is doing the platform sharing thing. So they're just using a platform that they already have. They're adapting it to the e-bike space. I think there's some great and wonderful things about that. In the same sense, these are pretty big, pretty heavy for what they do. I love the fact that Kawasaki is doing this, and I think it is the right move for them to do this and to try and get some data backing and figure these out. I do not see these selling extremely well for them for some of those reasons, especially when someone's put in a reasonably uncomfortable riding position for all of 52 miles an hour. To me, I'm kind of like, okay. But like I said, to me, this is Kawasaki's proof of concept. I know Kawasaki is not putting these out as big money makers. They're putting them out as proof of concept. They're going to get them in people's hands. They're going to get people enjoying the ride with that. And that's what these are for. And I think they're going to win with that.
With the potential of these bikes inching towards, again, that 40, 50, 60 mile per hour, and to me, this is edging towards that e-moto category away from e-bike. E-bike, again, I classify as like the 30, 35 mile per hour top speed and around $3,000 price tag. So to be kind of sitting in between the $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 e-moto category and e-bike category and sitting at 75, I kind of hear what you're saying. I wish this was slightly less expensive. I'm not going to lie. I wish this was closer to 5. I think that would be the super ideal sweet spot for this. But it doesn't surprise me that this still does weigh several hundred pounds. Again, it is definitely gearing itself towards that e-moto platform. But I do hear what you're saying. And in response to that, what I would say is let's keep an eye out for this hybrid, because the hybrid that is coming has a battery pack and some sort of fuel delivery system on board. And that's for the folks who need that bigger platform and to go longer distance with higher speed. So when that news breaks, we'll be bringing it to you right here on the program. Josh, what you got going on for your first story today?
So more electric stuff. So Honda has decided that, hey, you know what? We have what they call their Electric Proto. That was revealed back in 2019 sometime. Since then, it has been merely just sitting in a closet or a garage or in the back of Skunk Works gathering dust. So they have announced that round 8 of the All Japan Motocross Championship here in 2023, it's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Honda will be running this in the IA1 Class. This will be Honda's first attempt at putting an electric motorcycle in an official race. And this is an all Honda machine, essentially. And what this is going to come in as a wild card appearance. Obviously, there's a number of those given out for and anything from Moto America all the way up to World Superbike, even MotoGP. There are wild card appearances where they say, hey, this is unique, this is different, or there's a racer that we feel like this is going to be a big crowd draw, because let's face it, that's what it's about. Trey Cannard, 33 years old, is a 2010 AMA Pro Motocrosser 250 class champion. He is going to be one of them. I didn't get the name of the other rider. I believe it's actually going to be a Japanese rider. In that, you can see, it's a great looking bike. It's water cooled. There's a lot of traditional stuff to it. It looks like a traditional CR frame on it, which I found very, very interesting, or CRF frames, so to say. So this is one of those things that, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see it out. We've got a closer up shot of it here too. There is a lot of machined billet aluminum on this bike because, hashtag prototype. That is a lot of expensive machine work. It's really cool to see that. Now, one thing that I want to say with this is earlier we talked about that Grainger CRF E2, the small one that is meant to be kind of like the CRF 50 almost too. So Honda's slowly treading into this water also. Like I said, they've had this bike since 2019, but now they're getting ready to step into it a little bit deeper and see how this does on the track. Now, I'm pretty sure, knowing Honda is not going to put this on the track unless they think it's going to do something pretty spectacular. Is this going to be YZF 426 spectacular? I don't think so. But is this going to turn some heads? Is this going to make some people scratch their chins? I am definitely sure of that, because like I said, I don't think Honda would bring it out if it wasn't going to do that. Your thoughts on this, Jacqui? We've talked about electric stuff. We've talked about and I pour one out for Alta. Zero has their stuff. We're seeing more and more electrics, and we're seeing more and more high performance electrics. To me, seeing it in a motocrosser is the ideal thing because it's high performance and it's low battery duration. So what are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I love the e-bike into motocrosser, e-bike into dual sport, e-bike into dirt bike. I support that whole vibe because you're right. It's usually kind of a lesser time frame is how long you're going to be burning those batteries down. I like the idea of commercial use or residential use, I should say, because it keeps it quiet. You can go out into the woods and enjoy nature. But as far as performance goes, I'm really excited to see this. And you're right. I did not know that this was coming. This is a bit of a surprise to me. I don't remember seeing this press release, but Honda would not release this unless it was absolutely ready for prime time, even though it's going to be on their home turf. This is still meant to make a splash. This is still meant to make a statement for the folks at Honda, I believe. So I'm really excited to see this live and in person and see what happens out there on the racetrack. I, for one, am completely here for it, and I think the bike looks great. So that is all I have to say about that. And as yeah, I'm super pumped. I can't wait. And you know, the minute we see more of this, we're going to be bringing it to you here on the program. Now, for today's program, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it is another exciting show within a show within a show episode. We've got a great interview that I'm going to sneak in here in the middle of today's program before we get on with our other topics for today. It is going to be talking with Cinnamon Kernes, who is a VP and GM over at the MIC. That's a lot of letters, but that's the Motorcycle Industry Council. We had a chat with her and Greg Jones from here at MPN, who is a content director here, about this year's AIMExpo, which takes place out in beautiful Las Vegas in February. Let's go ahead and jump on into that interview. But first, we've got a word from our partners. At XOTO, we set out to build the world's most stable, easy to ride, and fun electric scooter ever created. With XOTO, you get up to a 90-mile range on a charge and up to 45 miles per hour. It's the world's first front-wheel drive scooter and has self-stabilizing technology, even when you're stopped. There's no motorcycle license required, and you can purchase an XOTO electric scooter today at xotoinc.com.
Hey, dealers! Think email marketing is outdated as a carburetor? Think again. Joe coming at you with another doozy. Boost your customer engagement with email marketing. Supercharge your open and click rates by segmenting your list and breaking down your e-blast by your audience's favorite vehicles. You'll see those metrics skyrocket. And before hitting send, use a tool like subjectline.com to check your email's deliverability. Test, and test again. Want to make sure your inbox is a sales machine? Click the link to let us guide you. Stay tuned for more pit stop pointers.
So as I mentioned, we've got a great interview, so let's go ahead and jump into it. It's talking with Cinnamon Kernes and Greg Jones about some of the educational aspects going on at AIMExpo this coming year, which will be 2024, out in beautiful Las Vegas. If you have not made plans to go and you are in the industry, you should be going. And also be warned, it's right around Super Bowl time. So if you have not, you've got to get that hotel immediately. Let's check out that interview. Welcome, MPN fam. This is Jackie Van Ham. I've got two very special guests in our interview today. I have Cinnamon Kernes, who is the VP of Market Expansion and Events for the Motorcycle Industry Council, and our very own Greg Jones, who's a content director for us here at MPN. Welcome to the interview, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to chat with you a little bit about AIMExpo that is coming up very quickly, right? It's going to be in Las Vegas as usual. It is this year, February 6th, 7th, and 8th. There is a huge educational component to AIMExpo. And I think that this is just as important to discuss. So I wanted to jump on in and talk to you, Cinnamon and Greg, both a little bit about what, AIMExpo and MPN are partnering up this year on an educational basis. You talk me through, Cinnamon, a little bit about what MPN kind of brings to the table as far as the educational side of AIMExpo?
For sure. So first of all, I want to congratulate you guys on your 100th episode. Congratulations. I just saw that yesterday. We're so excited to be partnering with MPN on this year's education. And so for us, obviously we here at the MIC, we get to work with all the different market segments in the industry. But having said that, for us, MPN has an incredible connection to our industry. They are directly connected with dealers. They're directly connected with the aftermarket. And because, obviously we're member-based, so we have that conversation on the membership side of things. But MPN, your team is talking to the industry every day about the issues that are important, what businesses need to know, what those emerging trends are. And, really when we look at, I'm a huge believer that you partner with people that can do an even better job than you can. And I think that's really what MPN brings to the table, is that connection with the industry. And again, understanding what the issues are and what we need to talk about and what our dealers need. Because at the end of the day, AIMExpo is a show for the industry. We've always said it's your show. And so in saying that, we want to deliver education that is for the industry, not what we think is right, but what you tell us you need.
Fascinating. And I love how you've said that, that this show is for the industry. So you kind of have to keep your finger on the pulse and pay attention to what the vendors and the dealers, the people that are coming to the show, you have to, respond to what they're going to want. Now, all that being said, Greg, can you talk to us a little bit about what it means to MPN to be the education partner for AIMExpo this year?
Yeah, and Cinnamon, thanks for those kind words about MPN. AIMExpo and the MIC, they're no slouch themselves in the industry. They do a great job connecting folks, professionals, dealers, everybody in the industry can take something away from what the MIC does, and certainly what gets put on every year at AIMExpo. And they've been around now for a decade, better part of a decade, and we've had different variations of partnerships with them over the years, but never solely on the education side. So we were certainly extremely excited to get the chance to help them out on the education series and be up there on the main stage with a few different topics that really hit home for dealers on a day-to-day basis, with a few of the topics that we're going to be covering over the course of 2 days there. So extremely excited to bring that to the forefront and continue the conversation on those topics. And for folks that have been at AIMExpo, the education sessions really are well attended, and I think everybody that comes and checks that stuff out takes something away and is better for it. So we're definitely excited to help drive that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to that this year. And then Cinnamon, what does traditionally, and then maybe what does this year, what does the education track look like?
So we have been trying really hard to continually evolve what education looks like at the show. And, we've heard from dealers that they want to spend more time on the show floor. They want that connectivity. And, when you look at the fact that we're always about community and wanting to be together, especially when you say that, we're really the industry's reunion, and we happen once a year, we looked at, how do we bring classroom content to the show floor, and how do we make that work? And so we're going to try something a little different this year than we have, in, as Greg pointed out, our 10-year history. And so we're going to have classroom content on the stage along with our disruptive thinking content. And, really disruptive thinking is kind of the overall theme for our education. So while we have best practices and things like that, and that's the classroom content, and we have our MIC symposium content, we want it to always be about dealers thinking new ways to think about business, new ways to look at the challenges and the solutions, and, to think outside of the box, because, just as we try to evolve the show, we need to evolve the way we do business, and stay ahead of those trends. For us, we want to keep it all on the show floor to keep everybody, better engaged, give our dealers the chance to, connect with our exhibitors, and then also take advantage of that education and not feel like they have to choose. I mean, a lot goes into, and Greg, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but a lot goes into planning the education and finding the right speakers that are going to inspire and motivate. And, so much goes into it that when you put it off into a classroom, I mean, that's great. It's a different intimate setting, but at the same time, if you don't know about it, if you didn't think about it, if you miss it, then you're a little out of luck. And so, for us, I think there's such an opportunity with our dealers to learn and do more. I mean, they do a great job, no two ways about it, but everybody can always do more. The second you think you've accomplished that, highest level of excellence, they always say you should just stop what you're doing. And, obviously we don't want that. None of us are perfect. And so let us do what we can to help, again, our dealers do more in business and always do better.
I love that. So Greg, I also wanted to ask you though, what kind of do you have in mind, or what's on the agenda as far as education from the MPN side? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And
what kind of topics?
I want to commend Cinnamon and her team for taking the feedback over the years about what they've done on the education side and continue to evolve it and do something more with it. So I think everyone's excited to have everything happening there on the main stage just off the floor. And as she said, it's extremely convenient and allows the dealers who are going to be in attendance, more flexibility to be there as well as be right next to the floor. So I think we're all excited about that. But yeah, when it comes to what we're helping coordinate, we're doing 3 different sessions over the course of the 2 days. So those sessions are going to surround topics on F&I and PG&A. As one, we're going to have a topic on talent, both acquiring talent within dealerships, retaining that talent, and training that talent. So really just kind of an all-encompassing panel on a topic that's extremely important. And then the third topic is going to surround digital retailing, which is something, just in the last year or two that's really become big and important for dealers to take notice of. And it's something that I think is really, fun to talk about. It's an area that dealerships are starting to really delve into and need to understand. So we got some great speakers who are, way brighter and smarter than I am in that topic, who are going to be shedding some light on what dealers need to know.
I'm really glad you connected with Brent from Maverick. I think one of the things that I love most about what you guys have put together is that it's not just brands talking about products and services. It's actually about the information. And then also that there's dealer panels, because, we learn and get so much inspiration from our peers. I think it's going to be super well-rounded. The content's going to be amazing. I love that we're talking about talent, because that has been one of the hottest topics in our industry that I've heard about for the last, people have been talking about it for many, many years, but the last 3 or 4 years, it's been pretty significant as a challenge. So I love that we're going to have these panels of peers talking about ways and, things that we can do to help with that situation.
So I was curious, because there is more than one kind of educational avenue that's going to be happening at AIMExpo this year. There's going to be an MIC symposium series and then the dealer dialogue sessions. Can you kind of talk me through, Cinnamon, the difference between those two?
On one stage, we're really marrying the two lines of content. So MPN, again, managing that day-to-day, that classroom, that in the weeds, this is what you need to be successful, as you manage your dealership week to week, month to month. And then we bring in the MIC symposium content, and that's more of the overall, the look ahead, your, 3 to 5 year strategy type of thinking.
Huge thanks again to Cinnamon and Greg for jumping on and chatting us through some of the educational aspects that are going to be taking place at AIMExpo for 2024. We're looking forward to a great year out there. Again, it is in Las Vegas. It is February 6th, 7th, and 8th. FYI, that is the week before the Super Bowl, so make sure you click on over and get your hotel rooms ASAP, because they are going to probably sell out. So you're going to want to get signed up like right now. Make sure you come on out and join us at AIMExpo this year. Follow along out at the AIMExpo social pages or over on their website.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see you guys all in February.
Thank you all. Thanks, Jacqui.
Thanks again to Greg and Cinnamon. A great chat about a fascinating topic out there. Education is super important at AIMExpo. It's awesome to see all of the new products and reconnect with everybody, but it's also such a great place to learn from each other and ask questions. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Now, let's go ahead and jump back into our program and our topics for today. My second topic for today's show is Marc Marquez quitting MotoGP? Well, sort of. Kind of, sort of. Marc Marquez has officially announced, however, that he will be leaving Repsol Honda. Let's go ahead and jump on into this wild story over here. It's official. Marc Marquez is leaving Repsol Honda. HRC and Marc Marquez has confirmed they will terminate their working relationship at the end of 2023, bringing an end to a decorated 11-year partnership. Even though Marc Marquez has a contract with Honda until 2024, he is going to break that contract and dip on out at the end of this year. Marquez's future has been the subject of great speculation since the end of last year, when he made it clear to senior Honda management that he was far from impressed by their efforts to improve the woefully uncompetitive RC213V. The Spaniard is widely expected to be confirmed at Gresini Ducati for next year, where he will ride a year-old Desmos Cerici GP23 alongside his brother Alex. That's right, the dream team, both Marquez brothers on the same team for 2024. Oh my goodness. Not too many people are terrifically shocked, because this past season, Marc Marquez has made no bones about how unhappy he has been with the bike that he is currently riding, including what happened to the downright disastrous German GP, where he gave the bike his middle finger and crashed 5 times, failing to make the race through an injury. incredibly unhappy. He has absolutely talked about it on social. He has been very, very obvious about it. So anyway, we are hoping that Marc Marquez has a much better season no matter where he goes, although it does certainly look like he will be joining his brother over at Gresini Ducati. Josh, what do you think about this very spicy story?
Like you said, it's not a surprise. And I mean, to me, him talking about it on social media and that is his way of putting pressure on Honda to step up the game. That's really all that was. Now, in the same sense with that, I mean, they obviously haven't been able to do that. When you look at just where they're at, no matter what, it's just not there. So the fact that he's been able to ride that bike to where he has been impressive. But like you said, when you chuck it at the scenery 5 times, there's a problem.
There's definitely a problem. Yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see. But I, for one, am here for Team Marquez jumping onto the same bikes together and seeing how that goes for 2024. As always, when we get this breaking news all sorted out, we're going to be bringing it to you here on the program. So we should go ahead and hit that notifications on, click that like, click that subscribe, do all the things and the stuff. Talking about Hondas, Josh, what's your second story for today?
Second Honda story, the Africa Twin has gotten quite a few upgrades for 2024. It's not just the bodywork you see here. There's some great stuff with it. It's still 1084 parallel twin. It is has different intake ports, 7% increase in torque. 83 foot-pounds. It still has the same 100 horsepower, so it's that up in torque, a little bit more low end for it. Was much needed for that. Exhaust system was redesigned to help with that. Both models, the standard and the adventure sports, are available with the DCT. Now, the DCT has been reprogrammed to take advantage of that added torque. Part of the reason why I believe they did this was to make that DCT engagement smoother and easier in terms of having that added torque without adding any more horsepower. To me, it all makes sense because there were a lot of people that they'd rather have a little bit more oomph off the bottom end, especially with that DCT. So something else that's kind of
It looks like we might have lost Josh over there. So we're all going to have to wait and see if he jumps back on here in just 1 second. But I can tell you he was chatting about the brand new Honda Twin little revamp or the Honda Africa Twin revamp going on over there. It looks like we might have lost him for the rest of today's program. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see about that story. Maybe he'll be back on next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, there he goes. He's back. He's back. He made it.
Let's go ahead. I mean, I'll cover one or two quick things with it. Is to finish it up is the Adventure Sports now has a 19-inch front wheel. The Adventure Sport is much less adventure and more sport now, and that is the big thing people are talking about. Showa electronically equipped ride adjustment. The Showa Era system is available on both now, but it comes standard on the Adventure Sport. So to me, lots of big changes for this. There's a whole slew of other things we're not going to get into today. Honda's going to have more listings on that. But the big thing is pricing and availability have not been announced. Go figure.
I got to tell you, Josh, I do love the looks, the slight revamp of these bikes. Yeah. I love the looks of them. I'm also one who is totally here for the 19-inch front wheel. I know that a whole bunch of off-road fans are going to eat me alive for that, including yourself. But I feel like the majority of these bikes are living their best lives out there on the street, and it makes more sense for that. So that is just my 2 cents here on the Africa Twin. What do you got to say about that, Josh? I can already see you like getting ready to fight.
No, I'm really not, because the Adventure Sports, they're turning it into they're aiming it at the GS. And they're aiming it at the 19-inch wheel GS that is going to spend most of its life on the road, that is going to go hit logging roads. If you don't want the added fuel capacity, if you're looking to be off-road all the time like that. And if you do, you're going to mount it someplace else, low or whatever on the bike. I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
I love that you're begrudgingly like, I get it, but I don't like it. I knew you were going to have something to say about that. Well, thank you so much, Gary, for jumping into this action-packed mega episode. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Mega episode. We are well past the time frame that we normally do, but it was so fascinating. Such great conversations and great topics this week. As always, Josh and I scour the internets to find you the best news out here. And we will see you all next week. And I think we might even have from Josh, I think we might have a bike review coming up in one of our future shows.
We do.
I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned, notifications on, like, do all the things and the stuff, and we will see you next week.